No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. But listen, I've been on that road before. They're imposters.
Nothing to ask me, for my opinion, a little bit unfair.
But in between that, there was drinks.
Why are you talking rubbish?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast. Premier League, Game Week 2, Will. Still too early to tell anything, folks, so don't expect any hot takes this episode.
We're 1 week in, and we were immediately wrong about certain teams.
I was listening back that first episode. I was like, what am I saying? Listen, folks, I can't tell what's going to happen. So don't expect any takes on the big teams. You know, what was that about? Like I said, the only thing we did say was, one thing for sure, Chelsea aren't going to do anything. And sure enough, they put in the performance of the season so far, I guess. It's not that long, but I mean, still, 6-2 is nothing to shake a stick at.
Yeah, it was tough watching that. I've seen people tweeting about it as well, especially after United, in their, God knows, third or fourth season now under Ten Hag, lost again. And it's like, yeah, but, you can see, he's putting the pieces together. But then, like, Maresca's second game, it's like, Maresca ball in full flow.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway is I fear for Wolves,
Yes.
Because Arsenal beat them fairly easily last week. I was like, well, I don't know, how good are Wolves, how bad are Wolves? Now I'm like, oh yeah, Wolves were bad. See, this is what I mean, folks. Yeah. Now the Arsenal win isn't as good. Yeah. Because Wolves are quite susceptible to conceding goals. Because this is the thing, you look at it, go 6-2, that must have been a hammering with a few consolation goals. It was actually 2-2 at half time.
Yeah.
And then, whenever Maresca said it at half time, just said, fucking hell, lads, it's Wolves. I don't know what he said. He said, listen, lads, I want you to ever look it over at Madueke. Yeah. He's right. Everything here is shit, including our performance. That was the big story before it, wasn't it? The Madueke social media gaffe. It's definitely a gaffe, isn't it?
Oh yeah, this is a howler. But to be fair to him, he thought he got there. He thought he deleted it in time. But then no, he admitted, nope, you got me. I'll screenshot it too quick.
Yeah, he put up like just a black story, black picture, black background with just the writing, everything here is shit, and then the location of Wolverhampton. Yeah. Which I'm assuming he meant to put in his private story or a burner account or whatever. And then he took it down, and then put up, sorry, you lot are too quick. That wasn't meant for this. You lot are too quick. Ha, ha, ha.
Obviously very sorry.
Then he goes out, he's getting booed, of course, because, it's been shared all over social media. This guy thinks your place is shit. Like I said, 2-2 half time. I mean, look, it's not the best, but we're still in the game. And then second half, he scores a hat-trick against you. Oof. From the same position, from that right side. It's like, get to him. Somebody get on that right side. He's going to kick it in from there.
He's spurred on by hatred. Someone stop him.
And of course, in that second half, I think the sixth goal, Pedro Neto comes on. He gets an assist for João Felix to score the goal. So just an awful day for Wolverhampton fans. Got hammered by Chelsea. The guy who said everything was shit comes and scores not even a great hat trick. Yeah. So he's almost right. He's, oh God, we played badly and we let that guy score the hat trick. And then after the game, we're guessing that the Chelsea social media team said, "Listen, you got to go out and say something. You can't." Yeah. You can't just leave that up as your apology. Sorry, didn't mean to say that. No, sorry, didn't mean to show me saying that. I do mean it. Go out and say you didn't mean it. And this is how we did that.
You took your first touch as the boos rang round Molineux. Can I ask what you think of Wolverhampton now?
No, listen, I just want to apologise to anyone that I might have offended. It's just a human mistake. It's an accident. Wasn't meant to be out on my socials like that. No, I'm sure Wolverhampton's a lovely town, and yeah, listen, I'm sorry. But in terms of the boos, yeah, I expected it, but that's part of the game. You have to be able to play under that type of pressure, so it's all right.
Appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Well done.
He gave that apology like someone. It's like we've done fake apologies like that on the show for things. Do you know what I mean? It was like a bit.
I don't know, man. I've never done an apology. That was the ultimate non-apology apology. Yeah. Sorry if what does he say exactly?
Sorry
again?
For those I might have offended.
Sorry for anyone I might have offended. It's like, it's been confirmed. You've been booed for 90 minutes. Like, it's not, It's like someone who's like, got charged for something, and they keep saying allegedly. It's like, no, you've been charged in court. It's official now. You can't keep saying allegedly. It's like you did offend people. They're booing you for it.
Yeah.
You know, you just apologize to those people exactly, and then you can say and anyone else if they are offended as well. But definitely the people who were booing me, they obviously didn't like that. But I think it's just the way, like, it's again another visual type thing. He's smiling the whole way through. I don't know if you can hear him laughing just on audio, but he's smiling and laughing through that whole apology. Should he have to apologize for something he actually believes? You know?
Well, this is the thing. So he has to give that apology, and we're assuming again, maybe not, maybe he took it upon himself to give this half-arsed apology. But at the same time, literally right after the game, the Chelsea Twitter, which we've talked about before, it's not actually like a state-run thing. It's normally just that it's social media guy looking for engagement.
Yeah.
But he put up a picture of of Madueke celebrating, and it said he's starting to like this place. So I mean, that would really rot you. Like they're literally condoning it.
It's like he's been told, again, we don't know, but we're assuming he's been told you go out and apologize for this, and then the official, again, it's just a guy, but it's the official Chelsea Twitter is like, haha, do you remember the thing he said 6 hours ago? So it's like, okay, it wasn't that bad. So why do we have to go out and give this fake apology? Why do we have to pretend that, like, I'd like, he's a 22-year-old billionaire who lives in London. Yeah, I'd say Wolverhampton is a bit of a culture shock to him. You know, we don't know. Maybe he was even talking about the hotel they're in. You know,
yeah, it's mad. Well, no, he did say everything about this place is shit. So he's very specific that it's everything to do with Wolverhampton.
Well, he tagged the location at Wolverhampton, but like I said, it could have been the hotel. It could have been Chelsea. Yeah, you know, it's. Like, see, if he was talking about Chelsea and he tried to put that in his private story for his friends, which just, if I were your PR guy, I would say stop doing that.
Don't stop doing that. Definitely don't be telling people you have another Instagram.
Don't be, because you think you're close friends, your friends, until they're not, then they go, oh, I could make, 10 grand by selling this to the Sun or whatever, go full Rebecca Vardy on it, it'll happen. But like, it was quite vague as well. Everything about this place is shit. Obviously, the location was, but it could have been like the Chelsea setup. It could have been the hotel they're in. It could have been. So if you get caught saying like, were you saying Wolverhampton or shit? You're going to go, do I say, no, I meant Chelsea, the club? Or do I just take the L and go, yes, Wolverhampton, who I'm driving through on a bus and staying here for a few hours and then going home. I hate this place.
To be fair to him, he did say in his apology, I'm sure it's a nice place.
What's I mean? He hasn't been there. He's gone there on a work trip, essentially. Like, so he probably doesn't have any strong opinions either way on this. He's like, I'm sure it's a lovely town. I've never actually been, so I'm telling you, man, this is a conspiracy. He was talking about Chelsea, and he's had to cover his tracks here, big time.
But there's something about, we said it, I think it was on the Patreon, but I was saying this Chelsea club is far and away, I think it's the funniest club in football history the way they are at the moment. Oh, that's right. Because it just seems like madness from top to bottom. The manager seems like a maniac. All of the players just say whatever the fuck they want with no fear of repercussions. I literally only saw today that Nicholas Jackson, he was responding to some criticism from John Obi Mikel.
Because John Obi Mikel on his podcast, the Obi-Wan podcast, said, you need a striker who knows how to hit a ball in the back of the net, and that's what we don't have. I know I talk so much about him, and sometimes I sound like I disrespect him. I don't disrespect him. I think at Chelsea Football Club, we need a top striker who can get us a goal. So I'm not disrespecting him. I'm just talking facts. I'm not. I'm very familiar with his game, and this is my honest analysis of how he plays. He's not a striker who knows how to hit the back of the net. So in response to that, he said,
he tagged him also. He said, John Obi Mikel, shut your mouth. Don't talk shit. We are killing ourselves for Africa. So I mean, you just don't see these things from any other team. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, look, it became personal with him. That's clear. This could spur him on now to do 20 goals this season.
Yeah, exactly. This is what this Chelsea team needs, apparently, is, just let them keep tweeting and Instagramming what they want. It really riles them up. Yeah,
they don't have any cohesive plan. They just need kind of individual inspiration.
Anger, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, on a serious note, I guess, are Chelsea good? As we say, it's only 2 games in. And maybe this could be a bad season for Wolves, but I mean, they do have good players there. There's no arguments that they have a very talented squad.
And you wonder about like the plan and all this. And I did see we're not a stat-based podcast at all, but I do know that apparently Wolves XG wise had higher XG in that game, which, you know, it's the thing of like, probably shouldn't have been that score. It's a bit of a freak game.
Okay.
But I mean, I think the reason for that is because I don't know if you saw Cole Palmer's first goal, where it's just an unbelievable first time lob. So yeah, the XG on something like that is probably very low because not everyone can pull that off. But like Chelsea just have a squad of all these unbelievable players. And like we said, bringing on Pedro Neto and Nkunku and João Felix and Neto assist to Felix. Like, that's what you said it before the podcast. It's like, shit, maybe this was a good idea all along. And everyone's laughing at them. It's like, there is definitely problems with it. Like, I know they're stuck now with Sterling, who apparently, I didn't notice, he's on 300 grand a week. So like, you're not getting rid of him, are you?
No one's on paying that except for Saudi Arabia.
No. Yeah. But then you just see like, yeah, there'll be problems and definitely unhappy players, but you probably could get 20 happy superstars at a time. That's all you need.
If he is only working on 21, that it could work out, you know?
Yeah.
The Sterling thing is mad because I saw that the average wage is 60 grand.
That is mad.
Think how much he pulls that up.
Yeah, exactly. But see, it's because the rest of them are on like, yeah, you're on 60 grand a week, but it's guaranteed for the next 100 years or whatever.
100-year lease. Yeah. So yeah, they look good. I mean, last year they brought on a lot of. I remember the Carabao Cup final where they brought on Mudryk and they brought on loads of different talented players, and they didn't look like they knew where they were meant to be on the pitch. You know, but maybe Pochettino hadn't narrowed it down to just the 20 lads, and the rest he can fuck off. You know, so maybe that is the key. Maybe he's figured it out.
Yeah, you have to be ruthless. You can't have a big heart and be Chelsea manager. That's the rule.
Yeah. Geez, maybe we judge him too quick. Well, maybe this guy's actually said, what if I just excommunicate half the team? Then I only have a proper sized team, you know?
It makes sense. Yeah. It's look, there'll be unhappy players, and I'm sure, you know, behind the scenes, players will be like, stay away from Chelsea. It's a nightmare there. But then I'm sure there's a good few mercenaries out there that are like, so I can go and I don't even have to play sometimes. That sounds unreal.
No, I don't know if there's many players who want to go and not play. I think that's our perspective of it, because that would be the best thing for us. But I mean, if you're a top player, you want to go and play.
There has to be one. There has to be at least one.
Nah, I don't know. But no, they look decent, but we'll see. I mean, we saw them against City, and they weren't great. So, but 6-2, great win. Good for the goal difference for sure. They're now back in the positive in goal difference. So it's all looking up for Chelsea.
I mean, it is nice being back in the wild swings of the Premier League, where just game to game, it's like, no, Chelsea are unreal, actually. No, never mind.
I'll tell you, it's got to be the first month it'll all kind of shake out. You'll say, okay, right, they're not going to have a good year. They might be decent. I saw actually, in terms of predictions, you know, the Gary Neville and Jimmy Carragher both did their predictions, and they left United and Liverpool respectively out of their like top four. Said, yeah, they're going to have a bad year. And all the comments on it were like, he's such a United hater, or he's such a Liverpool hater, you know, professional hater of my club. It looks like it's kind of gone Carragher's way in terms of Liverpool look like they could still have a bit left from the Klopp era. They won 2-0 against Brentford. Possibly the new home of Leverkeusen, which would be terrible for Evan Ferguson, I think. I mean, a loan move to Brentford is not the 100 million move we heard last summer.
Yeah, I mean, we said this, but that was the talk of like, he's the next Harry Kane. And it was when all these transfers were flying. 100 million for anybody. Anthony's 80 million. But it's a different world now. We're in the world of, if you're not an academy product for pure profit, you're not going anywhere, pal. Yeah,
no, they beat Brentford, and I mean, is this going to be Trent Alexander-Arnold's last season at Liverpool? It looks that way.
He had the boo-boo face. He had the look of a man who was, I don't know, maybe thinking of some things out, and really, it didn't look like for any real reason.
No, he had a bit of a sulk because he was taken off when they were 2-0 up. I think on the 72nd minute, Diogo Jota had to tell him, hey, this is normal. You know?
This is how football works.
It kind of reminded me of that story of Mancini when he got offered the Saudi Arabian national job. Like, I can't work like this anymore. This is crazy Italian setup, you know. Because his contract runs out at the end of the season at Liverpool. You know who else's contract runs out at the end of the season? Danny Carvajal.
Oh, there you go. Straight swap.
It's all lined up. He leaves,
Yeah,
thanks
yeah.
for the 6 Champions Leagues, and then unveil the new superstar, Alexander-Arnold. I mean, the team is so good now. Don't worry about his lack of defending. We won't need that.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it, mate.
Don't
Just
worry
kick
about
the
it.
ball to Mbappe. We'll be fine.
Yeah, so that would solve any problem he has at Liverpool. He's 25. He had to go to Spain for a bit. He can always come back. Doesn't work
Mates
out,
with
come
Jude,
back.
of course.
Yeah, Jude is good mates. They thought it'd be the other way around, that Bellingham would go to Liverpool. It could be the other way, that he goes over to Real Madrid. It's all set up. His mate's there. The current right back is going to see out his contract gloriously. No hard feelings. You come in at free. Big signing on bonus. Now it's like, taking me off and we're 2-0 up to rest me. What is this guy at? You know? Who's with me? Everyone's like, what's wrong, man?
He's no Klopp, I tell you that.
Just Trent Alexander-Arnold moving around the Liverpool canteen making different noises about the manager. This guy sucks. Yeah, this guy's a bad manager.
What he's got to do is put up blank background Instagram story and act like, oh, that was for the wrong Instagram. Sorry, lads. And just be like, Slot is a prick.
This guy thinks he knows tactics or something like that, you know. These tactics are crazy. Yeah. The training is so hard. I'm so tired all the time. You know, something like that. Something kind of disruptive. But they won and he played well, I think. He played well in the last game. So it just doesn't make sense for him to be throwing a strap. But he's laying the groundwork for a move. I'm just not happy here. Haven't been happy all year. You've all seen it, haven't you? He's dead right. You know, he's dead right. Go out there and try something new. But on the flip side, so they look like they have a decent team. Injuries providing, of course, it's maybe a bit of a light squad. But if injuries are good, looks like top 4 for them. For Man United, Will. I mean, it was another. Well, you said it before. The first head loss of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that stat that was knocking around where Ten Hag's United have now lost 6 games after the 90th minute. And in the time previous in the Premier League, since the Premier League started, Man United had previously lost 2 games after the 90th minute. So it happens every time. And it's never a surprise either. You can see it coming a mile away every time.
Yeah, it was with 1-0 up. Brighton went, of course. Danny Welbeck,
of course. Yep, record breaker. Yep.
He loves scoring against his former teams that let him go. United, Arsenal, Watford, those pricks. You know, loves giving to them. He always scores against his former team. But you know, that's something new for United. They can come back from that. They do come back with a pretty fortuitous deflected goal, and then they're on the attack. And it looked like there was a goal coming. It looked like this is like the old United. You know, they get run them, and one of the maddest goals I've ever seen. I think maddest disallowed goals I've ever seen, because for anyone who didn't see it, it's I think Diallo who gets the ball on the right. He plays it across. Zirkzee almost gets there, but doesn't. And then
he's committed.
No, he wasn't. He makes a decision then to, I'm just going to do a kind of a token slide afterwards. Maybe because it's fun to slide. Maybe to make it look like he was closer than he was. But he does that and then goes, right, I'll just look over to the left now and see what's happening over there, and see the ball rocketing back towards him from Garnacho. And it's like 8 millimeters whether it hits his knee before it goes over the line or not. And ultimately VAR ruled that he is in offside position because he's sliding unnecessarily across the line, getting in the way of the goal, essentially.
I mean, it has to be a record for like the shortest possible offside, because I mean, it's literally like it's inches from the goal line and from Garnacho. It's insane that it's even possible. And like I saw a lot of people saying like, yeah, it's offside. It's like, but really, why is that the rule? Like, he's not affecting things at all.
Yeah. I'm sure they have like a Monday video session, or maybe, you know, you just get a watch in your own time. Maybe there's a video room you go in. But I mean, that can't be good viewing for the rest of them, because it's just like, you've cost us here. Like, okay, we did concede after that, but I mean, you know, it's just the small
It's about
things.
the vibes. When something like that happens, you're like, right, well, we're not fucking winning today then, are we?
Like, it's kind of thing like, okay, you've missed the ball, and your reaction is, okay, right, I'll try get the next one. Or like, before he even looked over to like, right, I need to get back on side here, try and get the next ball that may or not come in. It's like, I'm just going to do a little slide. Just like, you're not tuned in. It's 1-1. We need to win this game, you know?
I know it's split second stuff, but he obviously wasn't thinking, well, Garnacho's going to get on the end of that, because he's on the goal line. He's in the way.
He didn't know who's to his left. That's the thing. He wasn't tuned in, Will. You know, this is the kind of stuff that goes through a team. Like, yeah, you do feel bad for him because they scored the goal in their debut, and then Ruud van Nistelrooy is like, "Oh, what a goal, man!" It's like, yes, and then this is just the highest highs, the lowest lows. You know, you cost them away to Brighton. You know, I mean, was it Pedro then scores after that 95th minute winner with like 2 sucker punches? Like, imagine the bus home from Brighton to Manchester. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm sure they fly. But the bus, the airport, just imagine how quiet the meal was afterwards. I mean, just and to be sitting there as a young lad knowing that it's your fault. Oh God, it's got to be tough.
This is the thing as well. I think at like a lot of other clubs that happens. It's like, look, it's not our day. How can you fucking count for things like that happening? But when it's Man United and you lose in any shape or form, it's like, well, we're in for it this week. Like, you know, we are getting absolutely hammered for the next 5 days.
Yeah, I saw lots of people had the red marker out, circling the Man United defenders for that now Pedro goal. They're listing the Ajax players like Onana, Ajax goalkeeper, Martinez, Ajax player. You know, so like just that kind of like analysis of like, look, these stupid Ajax players cost us this game, and like I said, this would happen at Real Madrid. This would happen at Bayern Munich, but they don't tend to lose like this very often. You know, it just happens a lot more for United, yet they have the same scrutiny as a club that always wins. So
it's that thing as well, of like I mentioned, where it's been so long now under Ten Hag, but you do like, it always feels like it's like, but it seems like things are clicking off the pitch. You know, this any minute now, it's all going to come together. You know, he's got everything, but it always feels like, okay, maybe just one more player and we'll be good to go. Maybe it's Ugarte that'll fix things.
Well, this is the thing. It's like we last week we said, "Oh, Chelsea are a mess. They're not going to be fixed." You know, when I'm sure there's probably Chelsea fans like, "No, there's positive things here." You know, look at like I feel like the entire podcast sphere, media, whatever, they're all like looking for the positives in United because it's a story that will sell, kind of. So even someone like Chelsea, which is a mess, people will write it off a lot quicker. Whereas United, there's always scrutiny. Like there has to be something that they had. Like they must be close. Like they're not close. They're no closer than anybody else. You know.
I will say I wasn't feeling too inspired when Ten Hag took Bruno off, brought on Scott McTominay to chase the winner, and Scott McTominay then like 2 days later was announced he's off to Napoli. I was like, well, why are we accommodating him in that game then? You know what I mean? Like, no, it's still a case of like, I don't think the manager knows what the club is doing and all this. Like, because otherwise, if you have a player where you're like, you're taking off Bruno, who's like the chance creator, the goal getter, and that you're bringing on McTominay, then obviously he must love McTominay and think he's a crucial part of the team.
Well, he does get that kind of goal sometimes, doesn't he? He's got a few last minute winners, so I guess he probably thought may as well throw him on in his last game. I mean, just go on. I didn't say last game. He said, "Listen, Scott, it's your last game." What? I mean, it's our last game today.
You had to have known it's coming, Scott. You know how the profit works.
Come on, Scott, wake up! Don't play dumb with me. Now get out there and score a goal. Yeah, it's a strange one. Usually when they're like consigned to losing someone, they don't play them ever again because like it's silly. Because then you're like, oh, what if he scores? And I feel really bad that we sell him. Because I'll be thinking, oh, what if we got Scott? Yeah, he's going to Fenerbahce.
Going to Napoli.
Sorry, Napoli. That's not something I would have put together.
No, but do you know who manages Napoli? Antonio Conte.
Antonio Conte.
Yeah. So like McTominay is probably a Conte boy. I could see that.
Yeah, but they've never worked together.
No, but he's the type of player, like, you know, he's tenacious and all that shit.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, he's an Italian manager. He's going to the bottom of Italy. He's Scottish / English, I guess. You know, it's just if he was say someone he'd worked his word on loan, so okay, well, that makes a bit of sense. Like Conte is really no connection other than that he managed in the Premier League, I guess. But
yeah, it is also one. There's like going to Napoli. You're like, yeah, that sounds great. Fucking move to Italy and that, but it's like Conte's not going to be there in a year. You know how these things work.
The only thing is about Scott McTominay is that really he's an attack midfielder, a goal scorer. But because he because he tries hard, people think he must be like a defensive midfielder, is he? He's running and trying hard, so he must be like a 6, is he? Like, no, he's more of a goal getter. No, they're more kind of like they don't really track back or anything. He must be kind of a mulliker in the middle there. Is he? He's like, no, I'm more of a goal scoring midfielder, attack mid.
We're putting you in beside Fred, Scott. Is that okay?
Double pivot. That's you place it. No, more of a Lampard guy. Lampard. You're not a Lampard. Sorry, mate. You're more of a Nicky Butt, I think.
So yeah, I think this move could be the best thing for him, really.
Yeah. Who knows? We'll see how Scott goes on. If I had to wager, Will, I'd say we'll see him and Conor Gallagher at a promoted championship side near you next season. If I had to guess.
Next season, wow.
Yeah, I think you do the year abroad. It doesn't work out. You don't give it another year. You don't go, maybe it'll get better. You go, right, get me out.
Chelsea and Man United aren't buying you back. No way.
No, you're going up to maybe Norwich or whoever comes up. They'll be another unsuccessful double pivot for
Gallagher and McTominay together.
Yeah, I can see it, man. Put it on the board. They'll be back within a year from the European adventure.
I do like that idea of him coming back and immediately just being put back in the double pivot and him being like, yeah, whatever, I don't care.
80 grand a week. Yeah, that's perfect. It's a job, folks. It's a job. What else do we want to talk about? Everton lost again. I think that might be a lock for the season. Well, that they're going to get. This is the year. We call it for 1 week. They're gone down, and I don't know if you saw Paddy Power paid out on them to go down already after one game.
Oh, really? I will say they always do something like that. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't really mean anything, but I mean, it's looking like it. Especially that Spurs game. There was one goal that I put in the group chat. Many people might have saw it, where Everton had a throw in up far into their own half, and they threw it back to the defender. The defender kicks it back to Pickford. Pickford doesn't see Son barreling towards him, loses the ball. They can see it straight away, and that is the type of goal where it's like, these lads are checked out. You know what I mean? You never see these goals happen to like teams that are flying it.
No, it's a really worrying sign for Everton because that's, England's number one. That's not like the sub keeper who's come on for somebody injured. Like, that is someone who should be like tuned in 100%, and he's not for some reason.
He wasn't even given out. He's. I tell you, they're done.
Well, the guys do that sometimes. He's a classic case. There's this kind of like arrogant goalkeeper who like there isn't enough time to kick the ball, but instead of like speeding their kick and kicking away, he's like, I'm going to take. No, I've got this. I know how long it takes, and they don't speed it up. Even though everyone's like, he's going to get you. Like, he must have felt him coming, heard the steps, and he didn't speed up. He didn't rush the kick. Like, I'm going to take my time. I know what I'm doing. No one's going to rush me into a kick, and then just the ball goes into the goal, just dribbles in after him. I mean, yeah, it was awful for them. As I say, like the people they're competing with is Leicester, who managed to get a 1-1 draw. Now it was a different night and Leicester at home, etc., but didn't lose 4-0,
No. Yeah.
So it's not looking good for them. They didn't fly from London to Everton. They got the train. It's a wonderful way to travel, Will.
Yeah. I do it a lot.
If you're lucky, you might even meet members of the public there.
Some adoring fans who've heard you're getting the train.
Yeah, who've realised that the No Nonsense podcast has already paid out on Everton to go down. And you really thought they might prove them wrong this week, but no, they were just as bad. It's, again, more a visual clip, but here is some of the Everton fans opening up a discourse with the Everton players at the train station.
You fucking rat! Hey, fucking fuck off, you little cunt! Hey, fuck off! Yeah, that's right, okay, yeah? Hey, fucking 80 grand a week, you fucking wanker! Hey, fuck off! Fuck off! Fucking swat!
Do you remember this like 2 seasons ago where they chased down Anthony Gordon?
Yeah.
I remember it was Yerry Mina was like, I'll die for Everton. And then he moved like 2 months later to a different club. But it's just like, even then it felt like that was more of a thing where like Yerry Mina was talking to him. It's like, we're trying, lads. We'll do all we can. This time, every single Everton player looked like they couldn't give a fuck. Like, they're like, what are all these losers shouting about? Of course we lost the Spurs.
Yeah, head down, get the train. There was no one remonstrating there. And when you're on a time or two, to be fair, the train will leave out you, Yeah, no, it was bad scenes again for the second game of the season. It's bad to have the fans being like 80,000 a week for what?
Never good when anyone is shouting your salary at you.
Yeah, anybody's criticizing how much you make after 2 games. I think this was an expert troll move from Neal Maupay when he tweeted out, imagine another job where it's normalized to get abuse like this. Hang around at a train station to scream at men who are trying their best. ... He quote tweeted the video that we just played. I watched the video again. There's kind of security with the Everton fans as well, Everton players as well, which is quite funny. Also, Mason Holgate goes over to actually shake the hands of some of the fans before realizing they're abusing
Don't do that.
Talk about not tuned in. Fucking hell!
Want to shake his hand?
It's like, oh, they're abusing me. They don't want an autograph. Okay.
No pictures.
So he tweeted out that it's got 2.8k saves. 44,000 likes, 3.6 retweets, 3,600 retweets. It's got a lot of engagement, folks. That's all we can say.
Yeah. Numbers.
So he said, what other jobs would you get abuse like this? Someone has very helpfully listed them below, and his name is @BobHelpful. So thank you, Bob Helpful, for this.
Thank you, Bob.
Number 1, traffic warden.
Oh, yeah. You could see that.
It is quite normal. If you saw someone abusing a traffic warden for putting a ticket on your card, like, yeah, that would piss me off as well. He deserves this when he is literally just doing his job. Number 2, Will, A&E staff. He's dying.
Oh yeah,
do something.
Yeah, that's true. They're doing their best. They would get shouted at.
Make this man well again. Number 3, policeman, especially in the UK. They get a lot of abuse.
Yeah. Much more than Neal Maupay does, I'd say.
Number 4, football referee. I mean, yes, definitely.
Yes, from the players.
By you, Neal Maupay. Yeah. I mean, that's the one that really you should have known.
That's a good one.
Walked into that one. Number 5, Will, call center workers. Yes, I can confirm.
Yes, 100%.
That has happened.
Why can't I just cancel it?
And then underneath, Bob Helpful said, difference is they don't get paid millions of pounds a year. Stuff like this video shouldn't happen to anyone, but society has an abuse problem at many levels that isn't reported. So a very balanced reply there from Bob _Helpful. Yeah, I mean, it is a bit kind of, it's not the end of the world, Neil, and a lot of people get abused as well. It doesn't make it right. But if you're going to do the whataboutery, kind of like, who else has to suffer this? Like, lots of people, and worse,
Yeah.
For less pay. But it's, I mean, the season continues on for Everton. Remember, folks, this is before the impending points deduction.
Points deduction. And I did see someone say that this actually makes total sense because Everton getting relegated finally in their final game at Goodison Park to end the season. I mean, that's exactly how it's going to go, isn't it? Start off the new season in their giant stadium in the championship with no money. Big white elephant in the championship. Yeah, nobody filling the stadium, no one there. That would be quite cruel, actually, if that's how it shook out. But that could be what happens. I mean, they have a week now to sign. I mean, I feel it's one of those kind of from the top down kind of problems, just throughout the whole a Man United type thing. Where it's like there's not one signing, no Ibrahimovic, no Ronaldo can save this. It's just deeper than that. I did see we mentioned last week about Ashley Young still playing. I saw some Everton fans were complaining because Sean Dyche came out and said, "Look, there's no money to sign these players." And a lot of the comments were like, "Well, there was money to give Ashley Young a fat new fucking contract, wasn't there?" Oh, really? Yeah, him and Seamus Coleman have new contracts at Everton. Yeah, well, isn't that the thing in business? It's 10 times more expensive to get a new client than to keep an old one.
I'm not sure how that works with contracts.
When you get rid of the players and you get millions of pounds in.
But the experience is invaluable between those two players, Will. I mean, they can't run anymore, but the experience is there of what they used to be able to run. I don't know. We'll see if it gets any better. I doubt it, though. I think it'll probably just get worse. Will Sean Dyche get sacked for this? Again, I feel this is kind of beyond him at this point as well. Well, it's not his fault, you know?
Yeah, this is literally his job, is to be like, be down there losing games.
Yeah. I mean, they could survive, but I mean, it's a money issue. That's the thing for Everton. It's not like, oh, the wrong director of football is there, or the recruitment has been so bad. It's like it's and those things might be true as well. But right now, it's like it's a cash flow issue where we don't have enough money to buy the things we need. That's a business.
Well, I mean, they sold Onana, and I don't think they've replaced them, because obviously that money went straight into the bank. We need that for a rainy day.
You saw he was speaking there recently to somebody. He said he wants to speak to Emery in Spanish, Will.
Oh.
Doesn't speak Spanish. He wants to learn Spanish and speak to him in Spanish. He does speak 5 other languages, though.
Ooh, a Lukaku type.
He's also Belgian. I mean, when you think about it, Will, when you think about it, like us as non-fresh footballers, who did all our schooling and college, you know, how many languages do we speak? How many languages do people that aren't generally speak?
Where do they find the time?
These are people who became professional footballers in the meantime, and they speak all these languages. What does the Belgian school system teach them, and how are they doing this? It's insane. I was like, another one. I thought Lukaku was like kind of a savant. You know what I mean? Just like tall, handsome athlete who could learn languages, but there's another athletic Belgian who has 5 languages to his name.
Yeah, speaking of Belgium, actually, I don't know if you saw that Courtois announced he is not coming back to the Belgian squad as long as... Who's their manager? Is it Martinez?
No, he's a Portugal manager. Somebody else.
Their current manager. Whoever their current manager, remember he had that big falling out over giving Courtois' mortal enemy, De Bruyne, the captaincy.
Yeah.
He said, I'm not coming back as long as he's there. So he said, as it stands, I'm retired from international football until he's gone, and then I'll come back.
Aren't they both like the wrong side of 35 at this point?
Yeah, it is funny being like, as long as the manager's there, I'm not coming back. It's like, coming back? I thought you were gone already, man.
Like, you should have made football full stop. No, I'm being a bit harsher now. I mean, he's obviously playing at Real Madrid.
Yeah, he's like the best goalkeeper in the world.
In one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah.
They were playing at the weekend. The La Liga is back as well, of course. And Mbappe has gone 2 games now, no goals.
Broad watch. We are
drought.
Rapidly approaching 007 territory, are we?
We're almost there. We're basically there. 2 goals, 2 games, no goals. They won 3-0 against Valladolid, I think. So it's not like they're losing games. It's not like, the whole team is bad. The chances are there. Then he put it on plate for him. Couldn't finish. So, look, we have players on the bench. Let's bring them on. Who they bring on?
The original Starboy, I would say.
The whole stadium cut to black and white, and then Endrick came off the bench, and he scored a pretty good goal. 3 men in front of him, kind of danced around to them, stuck in the net. Endrick celebrates, points to probably Charlton looking down on him. Says, "This one's for you, big man."
Very disappointed he didn't do the 60s celebration of standing in the one spot and jumping up and down with his hands in the air.
Yeah, because I think it was Bellingham was like, kept posting on Instagram, say like, man like Bobby Charlton. Taking the piss out of him.
Bellingham has no idea who Bobby Charlton is.
Well, it's kind of like if Evan Ferguson was like, I think probably my biggest inspiration is John Giles. Like, John Giles? No one who's still alive has seen him in any other capacity other than RT pundits. You can't say he was an inspiration on your playing style, yo.
It'd be even weirder because at least that's Irish. It'd be like if Evan Ferguson came out and said, "Oh, I love Zico."
Yeah, big inspiration for me. Zico was the man, you know,
big pusscast guy.
Yeah. Well, it'd be funnier like if it was, say, it was like kind of very transparent, where it was like Di Stefano, because that's Real Madrid. You know what I mean? But Bobby Charlton, who played for Man United in England, it's like, well, he doesn't want to go there. He's just...
How has he ever seen him? Like, I think I've maybe seen one highlight video of the Champions or the European Cup they won. I think that's all the Bobby Charlton I've ever seen. And I love Man United.
I think I saw that game. Maybe I watched it on like ESPN back when they were on Sky.
Yeah.
They used to play that 63, the George Best game, essentially. That was when he was like the best player in the world and was like, wow, this is amazing. But yeah, I don't remember seeing Bobby Charlton in that game. Only he had a particularly standout game or whatever. But yeah. Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hi, this is a call from Revolut. Your Revolut card has been charged for 83. If that's not you, then press 1 to talk to a Revolut executive and cancel the transaction. Or hang up the call to auto-authorize the payment.
Oh, don't hang that up. It's going to authorize it.
See, folks, I get you with the hang up the call, you know, because you think like to authorize a payment, hang up the call, say, oh, no, I can't hang up.
Double bluff.
You know, well, I better press 1 to talk to a Revolut person, you know, to figure this out.
Yeah, it's clever. Hang up if you do not want to give us your money.
I mean, I just feel bad for the old people who get done by that, you know, because it's convincing enough, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, what we're saying. Endrick scores. He scores in his debut. I did see a lot of people posting that in black and white, which is quite funny that he's done this to himself now. What was the other thing he said? He said Bobby Charlton. There's another kind of like 60s reference that he made. That he's like, he's
had a few of them.
I love the peace and love movement or something. What does he say?
There's a great trend going around of like clips of games from the 60s, and then it'll cut to the crowd after the goal, and Endrick is sitting there in black and white. Here's a conspiracy for you.
Yeah.
Do you think this is like a really clever agent move to like, this is how you set up the move to Man United when you're 28, you know? Put the links in now. It's like, oh, I love Man United, Bobby Charlton, George Best, you know? So then the time comes, Man United go, hey, that'd be huge, you know? Think of the marketing possibilities, like he's home and all that shit.
Yeah, but it's completely backfired. Everyone's like, he's a liar. You know?
Well, look, it was a good idea in theory.
And then there's like, maybe in 10 years' time, Man United will be good and we can go there. It's like, if he's at Real Madrid, he can go wherever he wants, you know? So none of this really makes sense. He's already made it. He's 18, he's made it. So yeah, Endrick scores on his debut. And he becomes the youngest ever foreign player to score for Madrid. Youngest player before that, Will, I know you know it.
I do know it, yeah. Man United legend, Raphael Varane.
Yeah, which shows how much miles he had in the clock when he got to Man United. Endrick is 18 years and 35 days, and Varane was 18 years and 152 days when he scored in 2011. And
then United signed him, and he was like, he's got one more season left in him, boys. Yeah. He went to Como on a free. Immediately injured. To be managed by Cesc Fabregas, which is mad. So yeah, look, it's great. And the funny thing about this Endrick goal is I can't see like a picture of him celebrating, but also seeing a split screen of Mbappe on the bench scowling. I'm sure at a different time. I'm sure that was the goal, and he went, I'm going to scowl at this whoever catches me. I'm sure he celebrated, but you know the narrative is already in play that this Real Madrid team is going to be it's going to eat itself alive from the inside. But yeah, look, best luck to both of them, I think. I mean, Mbappe is he's the star of the show everywhere he goes. It's going to be the case. If he's scoring, then it's a problem for everyone else. If he's not scoring, something needs to be fixed. Yeah, it happened with Messi and Ronaldo. When they go 2 games, 3 games, there'll be a drought, a genuine drought, because they don't usually do this. So when he doesn't score, expect scrutiny. Expect people to go, is Endrick better? I think we should play Endrick instead of Mbappe. I don't think Mbappe's very good every time he won't score. So it comes with the million a week or whatever he's making. Yeah, you know? Exactly. Again, traffic wardens, A&E workers. There's a list of top 5 people who get worse abuse for less money. Well, what else do we have then? Speaking of Real Madrid, the Champions League, Will, this happened last week. Fenerbahce, now under Jose Mourinho. I'm sure you saw all the unveiling videos and stuff. There were some questionable tweets at the time. One I saw was like, we should all thank
our lucky stars, this guy went into football, not politics.
Yeah, it's like, what are you implying there? Thank God he wasn't in politics, or we'd be in big trouble.
Because if this guy was dictator, I'd follow him, blindly. He liked this huge kind of ovation, same as he's had everywhere since probably Porto, this kind of huge fanfare. Because he's a great manager and he's going to win you things. He went to Fenerbahce and they were in the Champions League qualifying round early on. This was last week, to say, and they lost. They went out, and now they're not in the Champions League and they're going out to Europa League, which I didn't think you could do anymore. But I guess in the qualifying stage, you still have the drop down ability. But he explained this in a way that only he could. Let's just play the clip.
Consequences for me are very simple. We lose economically because Champions League obviously is an important boost to the club, and we lose the chance to play against the biggest teams in the world. But we would never win the Champions League. We would never reach the Champions League final. Never. We could beat two of the big teams, but we couldn't go through every round until the big targets. So we lost that. But we go to Europa League. And in Europa League, if I don't want to say the rest, I prefer to stay on the ifs. But if we can do a great Europa League. If, but we can do a great Europa League with the if. I cannot speak more than the if. If not, I am in trouble.
If, well, another.
He's still got it.
The power of if. I mean, it's genius, really. He's not saying anything. He did his own line. He does like, if I speak, I'll be in trouble. Like they're not going to find you pretending you're going to win the Europa League. You can say what you want.
It is. I think it's a worrying sign though when you have, it's normally like it follows a track of like everything is smooth sailing. He says everything he says you believe. Then it's around season 2, you start saying things, you go, whoa, what the hell was that? But it's worrying when it's this early into this season and he's coming up with memorable quotes, which I think is bad. You don't want him doing that. You want him just being like, yeah, good result.
Yeah. Do you think this is the the Messi versus Ronaldo thing was Ronaldo's done it outside of the Liga. Like Pep versus Mourinho. Pep's always had financial advantages and been at good teams, whereas Mourinho's gone to Spurs and he got them to a final. He got sacked before then, but he got them there.
Not his fault, yeah.
That counts. He's gone to Fenerbahce now, and he's kind of seen like, you know what? We're never going to win the Champions League, lads. Just, I know you're a quote unquote big club in Turkey, but like, let's be real here. There's no chance we're going to win this. Will he go down as a greater manager for like going outside of the Illuminati at the top of the Super League, as it were? To like go down to Fenerbahce, and if he wins the league there and wins the hearts and minds, like, do you think Pep would win the hearts and minds of the Fenerbahce crowd?
Oh God, no. Well, no, he probably would just based off of the stature and the name and stuff. But I will say, I do he deserves credit for going to all these teams. But the reason he's at all these teams is because generally the end of his stints, I think he's gone down the pecking order every time of he's angered another fan base. They're like, well, we're never getting that fucking Egypt back in here again.
Yeah, get him out.
Yeah, has it ever come to the end of a stint at a club, especially when he was in the Premier League, that didn't end with thank God that's over. Get Ollie in and just let him be nice to the lads. My God.
Although I don't think Bayern were too sad when Pep left.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, now it's a different story, but when he left, it was like, he won the treble before he came,
Yeah.
Have him in Champions League since, because he can't do it Messi. They were kind of like, we don't need this guy to tell us to play football, And also at City, I don't get much sense of they love Pep there. I think they're always defending what's going on first, but there's not like, oh, Pep, he saved us.
No,
there's like an admittance that well, it wasn't just Pep. He's been a pretty big part of it, but you know, there's a bigger part.
Because like
they're not like
they were winning things before he came too. It's like they were winning the league and all this. Like it's so yeah, I'm sure they probably do love him, but it does feel like they're not like he's a god here. You know, he's a build up the statue. It feels more like it's like, can you believe we still have him? How's that allowed?
Like Liverpool loved Klopp.
Yeah.
And as has been mentioned over and over again, they won the Champions League once and the Premier League once. And yeah, I guess they hadn't won the Premier League in a while, so maybe that's what it is, to bring them back to the promised land. But yeah, I don't get that Pep is loved at City as much as even, like say, Ollie when he was going well.
Yeah.
Again, maybe it's we could be back. Whereas because they had won a couple before he got there, and he's kind of taken to the next level. And really, all it's done is brought more kind of questions rather than like, you know what, fair play to them, they've done well. There's maybe even a little bit of resentment for Pep, like, fuck, he's won too much, he's made it too obvious. You meant to lose a few, idiots. Don't do 4 in a row. He might not do 4 in a row. God, they're on to us now.
Well, I did see, I couldn't believe this, that João Cancelo was just sold to Saudi Arabia, one of the Saudi Arabian clubs, for €25 million. And it's just like, he's still there. You're still making money off him.
I thought he was sold. He's running loan to Barcelona.
He was on loan.
Wow.
And then he's gone back and now they've sold him for huge, like €25 million for him.
Good business. Good business.
But that's the thing. It's like, it's all those things. It's the never-ending money machine. It's like, yes, Pep is amazing. He's changed everything. And I will say, one of the goals Ipswich conceded against City was they were playing it out from the back and City pressed them and scored. But it's just like, the fact Ipswich were trying to play it out from the back is like, well, Pep has had some kind of an influence on the league. That's like, this is a newly promoted team against City, and they're like, just pass it around. We'll find a gap.
Yeah. We should give a word to Sammy Smodics with his first goal in the Premier League against City. It looked like they were an upset on the cards, and then 3 goals in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I say one of them was from playing the ball at the back against City, which, look. We saw us. I mean, you see a good bit. A team comes up in the Championship playing unbelievable football. Burnley last year, like real attack football, and then they go to the Premier League. It's like, oh, that's not going to work here. You know, aren't you aware of the gap between the top and the bottom? Because you're like somewhere near the bottom there, really. And when you zoom out, lads, like the quality is, it's not even like they're probably playing the right way, or like, you know, technically that's probably the best way to try and draw them in and then create your own attacks, but. It's just a gap in money and everything, you know. Like, Kieran McKenna might do fine if he had that C squad.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
but it's just funny seeing them, especially like playing against the back against City, because you do have to think like, well, this is how they play. So it's like, obviously in training, they literally attack against playing against the back every week because they're practicing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is every one of their like 10-a-side or 5-a-side games. This is what they're doing, is running and getting the ball from defenders.
Yeah. And just to see players are just that much better, that they're like, wow, that was faster than we've ever done this. You know? And before, like, that's kind of like, it's a terrible idea for a manager to continue playing that way, because just you have to realize that you can't play that way against the top teams. But I mean, if Alonso leaves Leverkusen, you never know. You might see Kieran McKenna get a new job at Leverkusen after a relegation finish with Ipswich.
That's what it's all about. It's all about the style of play.
I mean, managers are hot right now, not players. You know, you just you promote your own style of play. Fuck Ipswich. You know, you'll be on to the big boy job after this if you play the right way. As if Ten Hag is going to be there next season, Kieran. You're already there. Oh, I tell you, that's what it is. You know. Speaking of Leverkusen, they started their Bundesliga defense in classic style. Cracking game 3-2, and they got a 90 plus 11 minute winner. I think we talked about it on the show last season. I'm sure you've seen the amount of last minute winners they had. And we were like, wow, this is amazing. This is great. They're beating Bayern. But other people in the Bundesliga were like, well, this is obviously rigged. They have the referees in their pockets. No one beats Bayern. So this is obviously cheating. This is worse than Bayern. And yeah, I mean, it's all 11 seasons in a row Bayern won it. And one season of Leverkusen's last minute winners went, I hate them more. I hate them more, I'll say it.
Because it's funny because every other team in the Bundesliga is probably thinking, that could have been us. That could have been us some season.
Yeah.
It's just like, it just goes your way once. That's all you need.
It's like when City win and everyone's like, oh, thank God Arsenal or it's Liverpool or United win because they're different.
Yeah.
But if one of the other teams were like, oh, well, now we've no excuse. Great. Thanks.
I know loads of Leverkusen fans. I don't know any Bayern fans.
We look worse than that now because if you can do it, then that means we can do it. And that just confirms that we're shit and that Bayern aren't even that good, Yeah, it's the same thing when City win it. It's like, well, they're cheating. But when Liverpool win, it's like, well, fuck, I guess we're shite. I guess they can be beat. So yeah, but the best thing about that, whatever 90+ minute winner was a penalty. It was awarded by VAR, which straight away 11 minutes of VAR call. Like if this goes in, I'm going to put my fist to this TV. Wirtz takes it. It's saved. Gets there and gets the rebound. So it's just the worst way to lose in the 90+ 11th minute.
I mean, yeah, in the 101st minute for them to allow the rebound of the penalty is so mental. It's like you get two chances.
Yeah, well, it was immediate. It was like it was a rebound. But yeah, really, the ref should have blown it up.
If you right, that's it. You had the penalty. If you're
no, that's not fair. You had a chance. I'm not letting you kick the ball twice.
Yeah, because we've seen that before. Of when there's a corner in the last minute, and sometimes they'll blow it up before the corner because it's like, no. You were just in there. You could have scored then. You didn't. So no penalty.
that would have been hilarious if you just blew it up. Ozzy's kick. No, it looked the clock.
Time's up.
I said 10
running
minutes.
Up, blows the whistle. He runs up to take the penalty. There you go. Time's up. Actually,
I pressed the timer back on when you started running towards the ball, and that was way over. So yeah, game over. Sorry lads. 2-2 finishes.
So yeah, I wonder will they do it again this year and. Yeah, it would be much less of a magical story this year because then they're just another really good team in the world. And then that means eventually they're going to beat your favourite team in the Champions League. So then it's just like any team.
Well, yeah, I was looking up. I was like, I wonder who they lost, because you'd imagine that they'd lose somebody. That's a good team. But they didn't lose anybody, Will. They didn't lose Alonso. Obviously, of course, he was the one that was going to go to Liverpool or whoever. But he's still there, of course, looking stylish and svelte as always. Just see. They didn't lose Frimpong, didn't lose Wirtz. I guess they're still young, so like they sold Alex Garcia to Girona. So maybe Man City. We don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's who they lost. But yeah, no one else of note. So I mean, they should be as strong as last year. Again, I guess it's injuries allowing, but. Yeah, there's no reason they can't make a good run the Champions League this year, Yep,
it's interesting. I'm looking forward to the draw where every team in the fucking world is in this huge draw for all these new competitions and new formats and seeing how that shapes up. I think it's going to be an absolute disaster this year, injury-wise, with all these extra games.
Yeah, well, I guess we saw in the Euros that there was a lot of injuries and it was very kind of lackluster towards the end. But yeah, time will tell. It could be just what the Champions League needs, Will.
That's true. Freshen it up.
So yeah, look, that's about it, folks. For this week, we'll be back midweek, ultras only. Link in the description of this episode. You want to get the bonus episode every week. We had one last week. Let's play a clip, shall we? His cadence in that clip as well, it sounds like we've edited together, but that is literally what he said. It's like, a little bit unfair.
So yeah, I think we've brought him back to the spotlight. We brought back the old music and all of a sudden people started thinking, they were listening to the show and they went, wait a minute, now that I think of it, I think I have a text from Dre and I haven't opened lately.
Yeah. Well, that was another clip. There's been a few clips going around. There's the coin one.
Coin.
I mean, that's. I saw someone saying he's doing an impression of somebody.
That would make sense because otherwise he's insane.
It's very not like him, and it doesn't really make any sense. I think that might be an impression. But this is what I'm saying: is like he's very despised online. So, okay, well, there's people who hate him. There's people who don't really care about either way about him. But there's no one who's like backing him up. There's no one online being like, "Hey, let's wait till we find out what comes out about these texts before we jump to conclusions. Nobody's saying that. Everyone's like, this guy's a bellend, you know. Or there's people like, look at this clip from a show in 2009 with Michael McIntyre. You know,
let's play that clip.
Everyone you know is going to receive that photo. When you look at that, who are you most worried about it going to?
Ellie's mum.
Should we send that to everybody in JK's phone? Enya QJ, One Show. Who is that?
She's one of the producers on the One Show.
Well, she's just said, I'm sending this to HR.
I mean, what are the odds of that?
Who was sitting on that clip for, 10 plus years at this point? Who had that saved in their drive and yes, wake up, babe. You know, the Jermaine G scandal I was waiting for has finally dropped and I can play this clip on it. Like, that's someone who really doesn't like someone to have that saved, because that's not like at people's fingertips. That's not like a classic moment in British TV. That's somebody who really doesn't like the man, you know? So, and very specific to this case as well.
It's so insane because there is, like, everyone's having a good joke and a laugh about it there, but there is a sense now in hindsight where you're thinking, was she saying, like, I'm sending that to HR as a joke, or is she saying, that's it, I've had enough of these endless pictures, I'm sending this to HR?
Yeah. We don't have the exact time. We're guessing around 2009, 2010, but it is quite telling that, that he sent like an inappropriate picture to a coworker and she said, I'm important to HR. Everyone's, like, that'll do anything, you know? Like, the entire audience laughed it off. It like,
we have to do a quick correction, something we don't usually do on the show, but in that Patreon episode we said that clip from the Michael McIntyre show was from like 10 years ago. Turns out that was from last April.
What?
Yeah.
Michael McIntyre's still on TV.
Apparently so. And he does a show called Send to All where he, harasses people's workers.
Damn. Wow. And I was like, you can really tell that's 2009 because people were so insensitive back then, not like now. Yeah, I guess I was totally wrong. Well, folks, if that doesn't draw you in, I don't know what will. Like I said, link in the description of this episode. Sign up today and you'll get Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, all the cups really. Anything that happens midweek. Anything else that happens through the week, you get it over on the Ultra episode. So sign up to that, and we'll be back next week with more Premier League and whatever, more football. We'll be back with more football. Next
you know
week.
what the show fucking
Come on, you just listened to the entire hour. I need to explain to you
what are going to talk about next week. I wonder.
What next week, lads? Jesus, I mean, what's under what? It's called no nonsense football. You know. Anyways, sorry for getting mad there, but I mean, just inflation. It's crazy out there. Are we still that a feeling? Make sure we just fucking put one out as well.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense.
God.
All nonsense. But listen, I've been on that road before. They're imposters.
So I think to ask me, for my opinion, a little bit unfair.
But in between that, there was drinks.
Why are you talking rubbish?